Deseret News Rewind is presented by Tosh, the Orthopedic Specialty Hospital, Utah's premier sports medicine, physical therapy, and sports training center. Welcome in Deseret News Rewind. Dusty Litster and Dane Stewart, presented by Tosh, the Orthopedic Specialty Hospital. And as always, been a long soccer year. You started in the cold, it got hot, it went cold again. Now it's nice and warm. Hopefully the rain and weather stays away this week as we're in the semifinals here in the 5A soccer tournament. But if something's going on, get the experts at Tosh.
That's right. Regardless of age, what you did or didn't do or whatever. Free injury assessment available to anyone. Take advantage of it. Call 801-314-4040. There's no need to just wonder and hope it goes away. Go see the experts at Tosh for a free injury assessment.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to go through this 5A soccer tournament, and let's set you up on what we were seeing here in the semifinals. Alta versus Skyline, Brighton versus Viewmont.
Yeah.
But let's start first the top half of the bracket. Dan, you just saw Alta just yesterday, matter of fact, in that win against East. How about the Alta Hawks? Someone on this show picked them to get to the championship and win, and feeling pretty good at the moment.
Well, so let's just put a little pause in here right now, right? So Alta, fantastic. First of all, they haven't been scored on in this tournament, Dusty. Think about that. Yeah. That's a pretty good accomplishment. There's a lot of teams that haven't been scored on in this tournament, though. We'll get to that. Yeah. But the Alta Hawks, a fantastic win over East. For the third year in a row, they end the East Leopards season. But did we have them play in East in our bracket?
We did not.
We did not.
We did not.
Who did we have them playing?
We had them Box Elder.
We sure did. And, you know, I was up in Box Elder, Dusty. And I'm not going to lie, we got a lot of fans up in Box Elder from the Hive.
Wow.
That's upside down. Yeah. They wanted us to know, Dusty, they do have scarves. And this one is for you from the Box Elder faithful. They wanted Dusty Litster to have his own Box Elder scarf.
You know, I don't.
So there you go.
Well,
I got one too.
Oh, you did? So we got matching ones.
Yeah, it goes perfect with your purple shirt.
You know what? I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
So look at that.
All right.
We're representing the Box Elder.
This will be coming off after B-roll.
You like that?
No, this is awesome. Box Elder, thank you so much. And really is appreciated.
Yeah. It was fantastic. Now, that being said, Box Elder, they're not going to like me for this one because they lost to East. So the East Leopards beat Box Elder and ended up playing Alta. But it was a fantastic year for Box Elder, a game that I know a lot of people wish went the other way, and there was some tough officiating and calls in that one, but East looked fantastic. And then they go to Alta. For the third year in a row, they face the Alta Hawks, and for the third year in a row, East can't net a goal. They fall down early, and they lose this time 2-0. But when you talk about Alta, Dusty, Kenny Kokerscheit, what a year he has had. He had that game-winning goal in just the third minute in the quarters against East. And then the keep. I mean, England was fantastic. East had a couple of real prime opportunities. England stood up big. We mentioned he hasn't given up a goal in this state tournament. And you look at this Alta team, Dusty, I think they've scored 21 goals on the year, and yet they find themselves in the semifinals. The defense has been the calling card for Alta. It has been the reason why the Alta Hawks have had the year they've had. And when you're based good defensively in soccer, all you need is one or two good finishes, and you've got a great chance to win. And that's what I think makes Alta still a great pick for a state championship.
Feeling pretty good about the ALTAHAWK. So this is the longest I probably ever worn a scarf in my life.
It looks good.
Thank you. Skyline. I really didn't even think about coordinating it today. Didn't even cross my mind. Skyline coming on the other side, the champion of Region 6, a team you got to see a couple of times. They blanked Skyridge to get here, and Skyridge has been a very, very good team this year, and they blanked Woods Cross in the first round. So interesting to watch kind of this is a little bit of a hashtag theme of the show. This one that certainly is the shutouts from these teams that have won.
Yeah, and a real impressive win for Skyline over Skyridge. And, you look at this, Dusty, Skyridge was so good. We mentioned the defense, and Witt had a fantastic year all year long for the Falcons, but it was Skyline once again. And I'll tell you, this team, they've got some great offensive options when you look at Jensen, as well as Spike Neary. He's a kid you got to watch out for. Skyline has not given up a goal. You just mentioned that. So are either of these teams going to score in the semifinal? Can we have a tie? No, we can't. So someone's going to have to find a way to score against a really good defense. Skyline and Alta is going to be a phenomenal semifinal in this 5A state tournament.
It certainly will. Now, to the bottom side of the bracket, we'll start first with Viewmont. How about a surprise team? This is a team for years.
Yeah.
In old 5A.
Yeah.
In old 5A, it was Viewmont and Davis for a number of years,
Yep.
the tops of the classification. Take care of West 3-2 in the first round. Go to PKs to beat Corner Canyon.
Yeah.
It was 3-3 at the end of regulation to get the win over Corner Canyon to get themselves to this opportunity.
All right, so, I said West I thought was maybe the best team in the state in 5A.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked by that.
I was big on West into this tournament, Dusty. And then came the Vikings. And I completely underestimated them. Here comes Viewmont. And the old Vikings, Dusty, took out my state champion.
Here, want me to hold that for you? Hey, you take out the boys, the sons of Gene Plaga.
So check this thing out.
That is pretty sharp.
This is old school. This is old school Viking right here. And our thanks to Jonathan Anderson, a former alum and player of the Viking Proud. But the Viewmont Vikings, Dusty, took care of business against my championship pick in our bracketology. So I got to give Viewmont some love. That's a fantastic upset. And then to do it again against Corner Canyon in PKs. We mentioned teams making runs in this tournament. Well, in some of our other tournaments, the Viewmont Vikings playing well at the right time, Dusty.
Yeah, very, very impressed. I got a good joke. I'll wait till the end, just in case you got something else up your sleeve. We don't really prepare this way.
Nah,
So I had no
nah.
idea he was doing this. I didn't even know we were getting the Scarves on the show.
Yeah.
So, all right, they're taking on Brighton. And one joke we made last week is that Brighton, you can't get to the championship by draws.
Yeah.
Well, they haven't needed draws. 3-0 against Roy in the second round, and then in the first round, also blanking in their first round matchup as well. So how about Brighton against Maple Mountain, 4-0. And so,
3-0. He can be taught. Excellent, Dusty. He's coming around, folks. We got a shot.
I might be ignorant, but I'm not petulant. So, but how about Brighton? This
Yeah.
team has played really, really well.
How about Brighton, Dusty? We talked about all those draws they had during the course of the season, non-region and in region. And when I had a chance to cover Brighton this year, I asked their coach about it. He said, we just haven't been able to finish. They're finishing. And they're finishing a lot right now. They finished that game against Corner Canyon, won that 4-0. You look at this tournament, as you mentioned, 4 goals, 3 goals. They are finishing. The defense has been fantastic. And you look at what Brighton has. We talk about Fankhauser every week. He's been wonderful. Nuttall, he has been the keep, Dusty. And he's the one blanking out all these teams. Obviously, his defense in front of him helps a ton. But you look at Babcock has been stellar this year. Offensively, he's really starting to come on late. The Brighton Bengals, this is the team that, Dusty, again, haven't given up a goal. But when you look at these 4 semifinalists, how about this? Here's a little fun fact. Let's think of the last state championships. For Viewmont, it was in 2016. They won the 5A state tournament. For Alta, it was last year. They won the 4A state tournament. For Skyline, it was in 2015. They won the 4A state tournament. For Brighton, they haven't won a state tournament since 2009. Oh, woe be Brighton, right? It's been a whole 9 years. Can this be the year that they update that? Think about the recent successes of all these programs. They've all been on stellar ground the last few years. Brighton in the longest current drought amongst the remaining finalists. But I think this might be the year, Dusty. This team is playing exceptionally well throughout the pitch.
Absolutely. Congratulations to these teams getting to the semifinals. Will be crowning a king of the new 5A classification. And this will be a lot of fun. So if you're champion, you sticking with your champion.
No, because they lost in the first round. That's why I'm wearing the Viewmont kit.
Is that what you're doing? You can go Viewmont?
Well, you know what?
Who's your champion now?
I can't.
Your champion lost.
Yeah.
So where are you going?
I would love to do that because I would represent Viewmont. I'm wearing it, right? But
I knew my colleague.
I'm sorry, Jonathan. I'm sorry. I'm going to go Brighton.
Brighton.
I'm going to go Brighton.
My goodness gracious. So who's your champion? Are they still in? If you had to redo it, who are you going to pick out of these 4 semifinals? Hit us up on Twitter at DNewsRewind, at Dane_Stewart, at Dusty Litster. I got to get the joke in. I knew that my co-host has been a redhead. Didn't know he was Carrot Top. For Vince Francis and Dane Stewart, I'm Dusty Litster. Thanks for joining us and watching Deseret News Rewind, presented by Tosh on DeseretNews.com.